What to Play presents the 15 upcoming PS4 exclusives for 2019 and 2020. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Square Enix enters the remake realm with their most commercially successful Final Fantasy entry. This fresh take on the beloved installment takes players once again into the steampunkish world of Midgar in pure remake fashion. New and old fans will appreciate the attention to detail, namely Cloud and his friends. The story, just like its original, lets players control Cloud and the rest of the Avalanche team as they put a stop to the evil corporation Shinra. Its new hack-and-slash combat is completely different from the classic turn-based mechanics. Players can switch between characters on the fly and deliver a flurry of strikes from enemies. Its impressive ATB or tactical mode lets players slow down time and eliminate foes with style. This remake is set in an episodic format. Square explicitly said that Episode 1 will focus on the events happening in Midgar, while Episode 2 will take place during the game's climax. There will be additional story details that adds new insight to the characters and the land of Midgar itself. Episode 1 comes out this March 3, 2020.
A barrier? Never seen this defense system before.
Thought you were the expert.
So what's your brilliant plan, genius?
It's my time to shine. Bring it on. About damn time.
Project Sakura Wars. JRPGs aren't dying just yet. Following a resurgence of the genre thanks to Persona 5 and Nier Automata, this mainly Japanese title is making it to the Western shores. The sixth in the mainline entries, Project Sakura Wars plays like a soft reboot for the franchise. It's a mix of the different genres rolled into one. Take a step into the fictionalized Tasho period and join the Imperial Combat Review as they fight demons and compete in the tournament of the world's combatants. Part action, visual novel, and dating sim, enjoy Project Sakura's rich storyline as you woo their cast of characters designed by Bleach artist Tite Kubo himself. It's coming out this spring 2020. The Legend of the Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 3. If you're one of the many that started loving the Legend of Heroes saga since its recent entrance to the PS4, this is good news for you. After the worldwide release of Trails of Cold Steel 2 last June, you can be rest assured that you have a continuation of your role-playing adventure with this upcoming third installment. Continuing the storyline a year and a half after Trails of Cold Steel 2, play as Rein Schwarzer as he fulfills his new military professor career. This next chapter will have a new focus on speeding battles and turning each into a more seamless experience. Taking the reins from Exceed, the English localization for this third entry will be handled by Nisa. It's set to release in North America on September 24th. Medieval. The past is coming back to haunt us, and in the world of video games, that's not such a bad thing. Straight from the studios of Sony Interactive Entertainment, a classic action-adventure hack-and-slash rises from the grave, bringing with it their knightly protagonists in renewed form. Making its origins from the PlayStation in 1998, Medieval stays true to the platform. Now, as it returns, we get to witness the spooky adventures of Sir Daniel Fortescue in a new light. Remade with a grave up, this breath of new life shows off with its renewed models, refined controls, and a spanking 4K resolution so you can savor every detail on the PS4. It looks like it's gonna be a veritable treat for the original fans and a perfect first contact for new players. Predating the Dark Souls series by a decade, you probably can't expect too much complexity from this title, but it'll serve as an awesome Halloween diversion when it comes out this October 25th, 2019. Death Stranding. Kojima's ambitious new IP is set in a post-apocalyptic world riddled with an eldritch entity. After the collapse of civilization, play as Sam Bridges, or Norman Reedus, as he must embark on an important quest to save mankind from extinction. The game remains a huge mystery despite Kojima releasing its massive 9-minute trailer. It showcases more gameplay mechanics, story, and even its badass set of characters, including Mads Mikkelsen and Guillermo del Toro. Players roam around a massive open world and avoid the capture of numerous threats, both normal and paranormal. The key detail in this fresh title is the strands. It's a phenomenon occurring in the game which Kojima branded as a new genre. This encourages strong online connections with other players from all around the globe, even if the game is strictly a single-player experience. But just like the game's story, its gameplay remains a huge enigma as well. But that's always been a selling point from most of Hideo's titles. Intrigue and a bit of ridiculousness. We can't wait for it to come out this 8th of November. Concrete Genie. While PS4 exclusives are usually big AAA titles, here's one low-key game that you wouldn't want going under your radar. From the small company Pixel Opus, Concrete Genie is one that proudly shows off its big ideas. An action-adventure game, Concrete Genie lets you take on the role of a lone graffiti drawing teenager. We know, not the most appealing premise, but hey, Pixel Opus takes it to new heights with the sheer spectacle of their execution. Tasked with bringing the dreary town back to life, watch all of your creations come alive in real time. All of them watching you as you fulfill your task to navigate through the growing pains of loneliness and rejection, just like in real life. Its dark yet colorful art style and fluid painting mechanics have drawn comparisons to Infamous, Second Son, and Epic Mickey. Almost 2 years after its Paris Games Week announcement, Concrete Genie finally gets its release window sometime in the third quarter of 2019. Dreams. If anyone here is familiar with Media Molecule, they're the talented people behind PlayStation's creative haven, Little Big Planet, and Tearaway. Their latest title is a fresh new take on the concept of game development software. Using the PlayStation's Play, Create, and Share experience, Dreams encourages players to create a world of their own packed with their ideas, imagination, and creativity. Much like Little Big Planet's intuitive UI, the game boasts in its friendly and easy-to-use tools. It's made for the young and even the old, along with their own unique experiences and interpretations. Once everything is in place, players can dive into the Dreamiverse platform where they can enter other worlds from other users. In addition to that, the game also offers a simple single-player experience if multiplayer is just too much for some. Nonetheless, its strongest promise is the trust Media Molecule gives to their community, and we can't wait for a huge collection of wonderful worlds once it comes out sometime this 2019.
Had a way of exploring this place. Now we're really getting somewhere. There must be some way to get up there.
Granblue Fantasy Versus. The first of two Granblue fantasy games coming to the PS4. One being an action RPG versus, like the name suggests, is a multiplayer fighting game. Of course, who better to usher the universe into the fighting game genre than Bandai Namco and famed studio Arc System Works, ready to bring their signature flashy and seamless cinematic animations to this new spin-off. As of writing, Versus is confirmed to have 7 playable characters. Play as Gran, Catalina, Charlotte, Fairy, and all your other Granblue favorites as they show off their individual skills on the Unreal Engine-powered battlefield. While there are some rumors of a PC release, only the PlayStation 4 has been confirmed so far, and it's set to release sometime this year. Marvel's Iron Man VR. The very first superhero of the MCU takes to the virtual reality to bring us to the high-flying Avenger experience. Taming the occasionally dizzying patterns of the young VR platform, Camouflage seemingly nails the transition from the screen to your own hands. Flying around as Iron Man in this upcoming VR game is more spectacle and much less of a cochlear disturbance. Veering away from the expensive MCU, Marvel's Iron Man doesn't have the likeness at all of the all-around super RDJ, nor the iconic Jarvis voice we've come to love. It's a little jarring to find somebody else behind something so familiar, but hey, bringing us an awesome hands-on experience of Iron Man's heroic flights and fights in virtual reality, we can forgive all these small slights. And while it's not a full-on Iron Man title, Camouflage promises it'll be a pretty big and lengthy VR experience. It's set to release sometime this year. Deep Down. Hey, remember Capcom's Souls-like dungeon crawler? Of course you do. This seemingly mysterious entry suddenly appeared out of nowhere from numerous gaming conventions, but it's been missing in action for many years now. This single-player action RPG encourages co-op play between other players. Go deep down into a massive labyrinthian tunnel underneath a massive city. As part of the Ravens, manage through the procedurally generated dungeons and survive with a team of your own choosing. Players can equip numerous weapons, including swords, pikes, and shields to keep vicious foes at bay. But this medieval title isn't backing down just yet. Although it went off the grid, development is still in the works since the company has been sure to keep the trademark active. Everything is behind the scenes as of now, but we can't wait to hear more about this entry in the coming months or even years. Erica. With the power of PlayStation's very own PlayLink, players can immerse themselves in this unique cinematic experience. An interactive drama, every choice you make can make a huge difference in the game. Blending a Hollywood movie experience and interactive storytelling, players guide Erica on her journey to uncover the truth about a mysterious killer on the loose. Sony's PlayLink enables players to play the game using their own smartphone devices so long as it's calibrated. Performing actions such as wiping Erica's tears from her cheek and flipping through the pages of a book are the many things that can be pivotal to the game's choice and consequences concept. No release date just yet. Ghost of Tsushima. Sucker Punch Productions' fresh IP dives deep into the Japanese lore in Ghost of Tsushima. This open-world action-adventure puts players in the shoes of the last samurai on Tsushima Island during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. Throughout the game, players utilize a variety of skills and techniques to defeat the Mongols, master the way of the ghost, and stalk your prey using a multitude of stealth mechanics. Its open-ended gameplay leaves players in this massive world without any guidance. Player choices are important in this game, even how to engage in combat. Since Sony skipped E3 last year, there is zero updates on the game as of the moment, except for maybe the gameplay trailer, which gave a lot of promising new features. No release date just yet, but it's rumored to release this early 2020.
Please, I do not understand.
울다스위 참마고 tunami usmi cheyaven sagt ci obelatno timi variaya.
Granblue Fantasy Relink. The other title coming from the Granblue Fantasy series, a spin-off from the main series, Relink further explores the role-playing possibilities of the Granblue universe. Travel along with a party of heroes and embark on a journey riddled with ferocious monster and terrifying bosses. Take a moment to appreciate the game's lovely art direction and get into action with their revamped Granblue Fantasy battle system. What used to be a collaboration between Cygames and Platinum Games, the latter studios' recent withdrawal from the project might be a little worrying. With already a promising action-packed trailer and the promise of a 4-player co-op, and even a Nobu Uematsu soundtrack in the works, all hope is not lost. Unfortunately, no release date just yet. The Last of Us Part 2. Although not present during this year's E3, Sony's critically acclaimed and award-winning action-adventure title is still generating hype. Naughty Dog ups the ante in the sequel with a promising new story and a handful of gameplay surprises. Much like its predecessor, it still remains a third-person survival horror game. The focus of a more emotional story and intense action is a priority in this interesting sequel. Set 5 years after the original, instead of taking control of Joel, players assume the role of a new and mature Ellie as she engages in any threat strategically. The gameplay trailer showed some of the major improvements, like the visuals and seamless shooter combat. Unfortunately, the game still lacks other details and even a release date, so let's hope it comes out sometime this year. Wild. This PlayStation 4 exclusive somehow scuttled off from media attention, but Sheep Studios still assures players that this game is still alive after filing for a new trademark. Sony also provided a bit of an overview about the game, which lets players use their instincts and intuition to thrive in an incredibly hostile environment. Throughout the game, players will learn how to control and tame the living creatures. In addition to that, its multiplayer offers a fun sharing experience between the player and a friend's world. Teaming up together to survive is an important facet in Wild. Experimentation and exploration are also the game's main focus. Players should always be aware of their surroundings and avoid eating suspicious-looking berries. Sadly, that's all we know so far since the game is still under the radar right now. But we hope to see the game out of the wild soon. Hey guys, so that's all we have for today, but if you love this video, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe it to become a certified What's a Player. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time.